Okay there, hello, welcome to the channel, welcome back possibly. We are doing one of our longer sessions today, not sure how much time we're going to be investing here, but we're going to be looking at two things, one of which has been on our minds for a long time, the other of which is a slightly more recent idea. And both of these things have got a little something to do with the recordings that we were doing before for the material for the androgyne. Androgen? Say it how you like. So the first thing is filter. We now have the wonderful float in our collection, and we used that on the androgyne project because we wanted to get something inspired by the final scene of, or at least the final kind of action scene of the sci-fi movie with, oh my goodness, it's escaping my mind, Annihilation. There we go. I was going to say that Netflix one with Princess Amidala. Anyway, we have been wanting to figure out a way to soften the attack, the tonguing attack of the contrabass. So what we've got set up here are samples from our looper, which is across here. The looper goes in to the first filter here, so that will be unaffected by any fuzz or anything else. It'll go into that filter there. Then from there, it will come out of that first filter. It will go through the fuzz with the little bit of the wet signal, the dry signal mixed in there, through the sentry, through the compression, and then it goes into the second filter. So we can actually see whether we want filter at the beginning, before any fuzz, filter after fuzz, some combination thereof. But our basic goal is to try and make the attack a little bit more pleasing to our ears. And the way we use this in the androgyne recording was very much like a filter for a synth, because that's the music we were trying to copy, very synthesizer kind of music. And we used a strong filter here, and then we had a little bit of delay afterwards. We've got things going through our nightsky reverb again, but that brings us to the second thing we're going to look at today, which is adding a little bit of extra reverb on top of that using the dark world. What we're going to do though is we're going to leave the night sky off, we're going to leave the dark world off for the time being, and we're going to focus on our filtering. So basically, this is the sample we're going to be working with for the majority of it. So you can hear how the attack is quite strong. We did look at another way of using that where we would add delay after it, and that is still a valid way of doing it. You may also hear that there's another click in there in that sample. That is key noise, which we could also use with the delay effect to really use all of the sounds that the clarinet is making. But we're trying to basically soften the tonguing and get rid of the key clicks as well a little bit if we can. So we have a second sample, which is down the octave, perhaps down the octave. I don't remember exactly what we did here, but this is that. So there we go. Let's dive in. We've got the waves on the float set to sine wave, which means that the initial attack is not as the initial triggering, I should say, of the filter is not as immediate as it would be if it was a saw wave. There we go. We may also try a square wave. We've got plenty of options here. Obviously, random wave is not something that we're going to be using most probably, but the two, I'm sorry, I should have said triangle wave before. The sawtooth waves that we've got, normal and inverse, may be useful. So that's another of the variables that we're going to be playing with. The LFO rate is all the way down. So we're dealing purely with it being triggered. Now, I think I remember unity gain is at 10 there. So let's visit the filter after the fuzz first of all, just to get a little bit of a feel for things. So we're not getting rid of the key clicks. Also, it's a little bit more of an obvious filter than we want. Yeah, we're not sure if this is the right kind of approach to be using there. Maybe we'll come back to this, but it's a bit more of an obvious filtering. I mean, in the final pedal board, we might want something like that as an effect. But the trouble is if we make the triggering more sensitive, then, well, actually, let's just play with that and see. See, that did it a little. So there we go. We had a better response to the finger click, the key click, but then it's a very obvious filtering effect. For that reason, I suspect that a post fuzz filter is not what we want for our kind of always on checking of this. It's also worth noticing that tonguing after the initial attack is still going to be of a harsher nature, not as harsh as the initial attack, but this is another reason we might want to have like a permanent delay of some kind on to make the most of that. Okay, let's see about this. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's try a couple of different waves, a couple of different wave shapes, because that's interesting. Okay. can hear a difference, but it's not the difference I'm looking for. Okay, square wave. Interesting. Let's... There we go. Okay, that was interesting because it was getting the initial tonguing softening, but at the same time, then it wasn't getting the key clicks. So let's just have a listen to that a little bit more and play around with the sensitivity a little bit more. Not getting triggered at all there. Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to try one more time in that kind of position with the square wave. Yeah, clearly not ideal. But what about if we try the sawtooth wave, or more to the point, the inverse? Let's try both of the sawtooth waves. First of all, the sawtooth, and then the inverse. But let's make sure we can tell which is which. So the inverse actually seems to be first, where it's like a sudden opening and then a gradual closing. Let's see. That's unusual. Hold on, something has changed here. It's not. Okay, it's meant to be open to start. Has this changed? Okay. Okay, this one definitely seems to be where it's opening very suddenly. We also had to change around that sensitivity. So it seems to be, so when it's here, it's open all the time. That wasn't what was the case here. So that's changed. Not entirely sure why that would change, but let's try this other one now. Well, we'll start with this one more time, then we'll try the other one. To be honest, it's difficult to tell. Okay, that's weird. Okay, it must be something to do with it being the inverse sawtooth, where we have to go to the other side of this sensitivity. If we want it to start closed, it seems that that starts open there, and then we have to move it across here. So I guess that is the inverse saw wave. It's a little difficult to tell because of the size of the thing. But on this side, this is the saw wave. So I'm going to assume that also this is the saw wave and this is the inverse, and that would explain why that is different there. Okay, let's give each of these one more try just to see if we can get a handle on this a little bit better. Okay, so I think it's fair to say that a post-fuzz filter is very much its own effect and doesn't really deliver on the kind of always-on thing that we're looking for. So, switch that off, and let's go across to the pre-fuzz filter and see how that is operating. Actually, there was one more thing that I wanted to look at. So this minimum maximum button is for the range of the filter. We've currently got both of it set up on both of these to be minimum and maximum. Maybe that's something that we could play around with to change things a little bit, so that it's only cutting off the frequency of the it's only cutting off the frequency of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's only cutting off the frequency of the finger clicks or the tonguing. So that's something that we could try. The other thing in the instructions here, with rate sets the minimum LFO frequency when the min-max toggle is set to min. Minimum LFO frequency. Okay, so that would mean that you could start from a lower speed. Okay, we're not, are we concerned with speed here? We've already got the speed turned all the way down. There's no way to control the maximum speed. So no, I don't think we're going to do that. Before we switch to this filter though, we are going to see if changing the filter frequency will do anything. Okay, let's go back to a sine wave and set our sensitivity to like an average amount. Here we go. Yeah, what that means is that we're just losing some of those nice high frequencies. Okay, moving on to pre-fuzz filtering. Okay, we're on a sine wave. Let's see how this sounds. And sensitivity, I'm going to put back here again. Yes. Okay, clearly this is where we need to be doing it. Okay, that's getting confusing there. Oh, okay, what's going on here? That filter is meant to be closed. Okay, there was something strange happening there for a moment. I'm not sure what that was, but we're definitely in the right place, I think. Okay. Okay, it should be starting from nothing, right? Oh, is it around the other way? No. Okay. Okay, let's try a square wave. Okay, this is acting very strange. Okay, why is this not turning on? Okay, rate is all the way down. Okay, with it off. Okay, we're definitely in the right area here. Now without any filter. Okay, this is sawtooth. Do inverse sawtooth. Just to go back to square wave. Okay, so to summarize so far, it really does seem like pre-fuzz filtering is what we need. And it is seeming like the one of the sawtooth waves is maybe our best bet. So, very nice. Let's see if we can get a little bit more specific with some of these settings. The main thing that I want to do is compare the sound of the instrument with the filter and without the filter. So first of all, let's see if we can find a decent working setting. Okay, that's square. That's sawtooth. Okay, inverse sawtooth. And for shits and giggles, let's go back to the sine wave. And triangle. Of all of them, I think triangle. But let's try this saw wave again. I wonder what happens when you turn the resonance up. Yeah. That's interesting as a way of comparing. Let's try the triangle again. Sine. Yeah, don't want that. Don't want that for sure. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to compare the filtered tone to the unfiltered tone. No filter. Let's try with our other sample too. Here it is without any filter. Sensitive. Again without. Okay, very interesting. So, like, that's a deliciously filtery, synthy sound there that we get with that lower sample. Are we losing tone quality? I mean, it's difficult because I want to and I can have both options available. You know, I can have the more synthy, cleaner tone, or I can have the rougher thing. So I think that that's the approach that we need to take to this. It's like tools, not rules. It doesn't have to be one way or the other, but we have the option, and that option of not having to have the key clicks is a great option. Let's hear that one more time with that sample. Also, let's take it back to triangle wave. Okay. Still avoiding the key clicks. That's great. Okay. Even I'm not really hearing a huge difference. Let's try maximum sensitivity. Yes. Still no key clicks. Okay, so even with maximum sensitivity, so basically here we can, I mean, that's great to be able to go from like the more synthy sound to the more normal attack sound for the contrabass, but without the key clicks and the the finger key clicks and the tonguing. We're taking it back to the sample here, and we're going to see how it is on maximum sensitivity here. Still doing the job. Okay. Well, that's really positive. Very glad about that. We can really do some sculpting here with the sound, as well as, of course, being able to just turn it off and have all of that roughness in there as well. Let's go back to that other sample, and what we're going to do is we're going to try, actually no, let's stick with this sample, and we're going to turn up the resonance, and we're going to see if we can tell the difference between the different wave shapes. Here we go. So we'll start with triangle. Sine. Square. Okay. Sawtooth. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be that much of a difference at this level of sensitivity. Okay, well, I mean, this is great. I think what might be a little bit fun, we're just going to go back to triangle, and we're going to have a listen to see how this sounds with a song. So triangle, it's on. Here we go. Yeah. Does this oscillate? No. Very interesting there, though. Okay. For now, that's okay. I'm going to take a breather. I hope that has been as interesting for you as it has been for me. A little bit of frustration mixed in there as well, not gonna lie. There is a lot to listen for here, but even with that pre-fuzz filter set there, that's great. This we can bring down for a more like synthy kind of sound. Obviously the resonance adds something, but like the different wave shapes, maybe we can find some way to make those a little bit clearer, so we've got more options there. But wonderful stuff. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope that's been interesting for you. As interesting for you as for me, at least. Take care.